Korean fried chicken sauce cauliflowers. First, start with washing and cutting your cauliflower into bite-sized pieces. Then for the batter, combine 3/4 cup of flour, half a cup of non-dairy milk, half a cup of water, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix thoroughly. Then you just want to dip your cauliflower in the batter and line them on some parchment paper. Bake your cauliflower in a 450-degree oven for 25 minutes, flipping halfway through. Meanwhile, make the sauce. Start with 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of gochujang or red pepper paste, 1.5 tablespoons of strawberry jam, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1/4 cup of water, and 2 cloves of minced garlic. Last step is to toss everything together. Thanks for watching. Today I was craving something fresh, vinegary, and spicy and decided to make kimchi somen. If you've never seen somen before, it's basically a soft wheat noodle. It boils in just 3 to 4 minutes and is used in a lot of Korean dishes. Today, once the noodles are cooked, make sure you rinse it in cold water. For this sauce, we're going to cut up some super ripe kimchi, 1 teaspoon of red pepper paste, 1 teaspoon of vinegar, 1 teaspoon of sugar. Then add your cold noodles back in. Then you want to mix it all together, toss it all together. In Korean, it would be called mucho. Finally, add in a drizzle of sesame oil and you are all done. Enjoy this easy and simple meal. My mom's homemade kimchi recipe part 1. First, start by washing and cutting your Napa cabbage into bite-sized pieces. Then halfway through, add a heavy amount of sea salt over your Napa cabbage. Add the rest of your Napa cabbage and repeat with heavy amounts of sea salt. Here my mom poured the cup of water over my hands just to rinse them, but you will need to add a cup of water to the cabbage. Now you want to take your hands and gently press on the cabbage, and then we are going to cover it and let it sit for an hour. Halfway through, you want to check on your cabbage. It should have a lot of water like this, and this is where you want to toss it around. After an hour, you want to rinse the cabbage in some cold water, drain it, and repeat the process once more. Finally, my mom insisted to taste the cabbage for a salty bite and wait for part 2. My mom's homemade kimchi recipe part 2. For this sauce, we're going to start with 6 large spoonfuls of red pepper flakes. Add a half a cup of hot water. This just creates that bright, beautiful color. Next, we're going to add 1/4 cup of fish sauce. This Vietnamese kind is the best. Then half a cup of apple juice, 1 tablespoon of fresh minced garlic. Once you mix it all together, it should come out to this beautiful consistency. Then you want to chop green onions and just throw it over the top because we're going to mix it all together anyways. Next, in a large bowl with your drained cabbage, you want to pour in all your sauce. And then put on your kimchi gloves and just mix it all around. My mom emphasized to me that I have to use this scoop and toss method when mixing the kimchi. Don't forget to taste as you go. Finally, you want to transfer it into a glass or airtight container. Oh, and don't forget to firmly pat the kimchi like that. Today I'm making Korean seafood chive pancakes. Let's get started. First, start by chopping your chives into 2-inch pieces. To make it extra crispy, I'm going to be using about 1 cup of this Korean frying mix and 2 cups of this Korean pancake mix. To this, you want to add 3 cups of cold milk and give it a stir. Next, I'm going to add half of this seafood combo mix. It had calamari, octopus, and clams in it. Then you want to toss in your chives and give it a gentle fold. Finally, in a pan with lots of oil, you want to ladle this mixture and cook both sides until they are golden brown. Make sure to serve it with a little bit of soy sauce and vinegar and enjoy! Today I made spicy pork back ribs. We're first going to start with soaking our ribs in some cold water for 1 hour. Then you want to boil it in some hot water for about 5 minutes and rinse the meat in some cold water. For the sauce, we're going to mix 4 large spoonfuls of red pepper flakes, 2 large spoonfuls of red pepper paste, 3/4 cup of soy sauce, half a cup of mirin, 2 spoonfuls of corn syrup for the glossiness, dashes of pepper, 2 spoonfuls of sesame oil, And finally, 2 smaller spoonfuls of sugar. We are going to mix the sauce and add our meat back in. Coat everything nicely in the sauce and let it marinate for 1 hour. An hour later, add some garlic and cook on high heat for 10 minutes and on low for 15 more minutes. Thanks for watching. Here is how you make Korea's most popular street food known as tteokbokki. These are some of the ingredients that you'll need: fish cakes, onions, green onions, and rice cakes. This recipe is super simple for the sauce. Start with 2 spoonfuls of red pepper paste, 1.5 spoonfuls of sugar, 1 spoonful of fine red pepper flakes, 2 spoonfuls of regular pepper flakes, half a spoonful of dashida powder, 1 spoonful of soy sauce, dashes of pepper, 1 spoonful of oyster sauce, and 1 spoonful of minced garlic. Mix the sauce all together. Then in 2 cups of water, we're going to dilute the sauce and bring it to a simmer. Next, add in your onions, then the rice cakes. You can also add cabbage as a vegetable. Add in your fish cakes, mix it all together and make sure everything is fully cooked. Then finally, garnish with some green onions. Thanks for watching. Today we're gonna make a popular Korean street food called mayak toast. First, start with a slice of fluffy white bread and evenly spread mayo. Next, we're gonna create a wall using the mayo. I ended up using a frosting tip and a Ziploc bag for this. Then we're gonna drop in our egg in the center and make sure to poke the yolk with the fork about 3 times. Sprinkle a little bit of sugar on top and pop it into the air fryer at 375 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. This was super yummy. I hope you try the recipe. Recently, I saw that Tasty collaborated with Cafe Maddie here on TikTok, so I wanted to recreate one of her dishes. She made a kimchi grilled cheese, starting with cutting it in a bowl. Then you fry the kimchi in some hot oil with some sugar. It should look something like this. Then I use some thick white bread. Now this part is my own little spin, but instead of using butter, I like to use mayo on the outside. Then I just toast the bread like normal, add the cheese and the fried kimchi, slap it all together, then finally melt a little bit of butter for that extra taste. This was my first time trying out the recipe and I actually really enjoy the flavor of the kimchi and the melted cheese. Hope you try and thanks for watching. I love eating something warm on a rainy day, so today I made Dippy. I first started by filling a large pot with water and added a Japanese broth packet. Then I added dried shrimp and a whole onion chopped in half. For the noodles, start with 4 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, a drizzle of oil, and slowly incorporate 2.5 cups of water. It should look something like this. Next, add in your potatoes and boil for 10 minutes. Then add your clams, zucchini, then pick up your ladle and scrape the dough like this. Normally this is hand torn, but this is just less messy. Finally, add a good amount of salt and cook your noodles for 3 to 4 minutes. You can pair this delicious dish with kimchi, and thanks for watching. Hi 친구s, here's how you make a popular Korean summer dessert called Bingsu. So the night before, you want to grab some sweetened condensed milk and mix it into regular milk. We are going to stir this mixture and pour it into a Ziploc bag to freeze overnight. After your mixture has been completely frozen, you want to smash it all together with a rolling pin. I highly suggest doing this during quarantine. It was just really nice to let out that extra anger and stress, as you can see. Now, the next step is to add on your toppings. I kept mine super simple by adding the sweetened red beans and some sweetened condensed milk. Another classic topping you can add is mochi or tteok. People oftentimes will also add chunks of fruit. I hope you'll try this recipe. Thanks for watching. Hi, let's make some vegetarian curry. First, we're going to start with cooking our carrots, potatoes, and onions. So it's been about 10 minutes and my vegetables are fully cooked. Now I added 3.5 cups of water and now the curry. And by the way, this is a curry packet that I'm using, extra hot. And finally, all you have to do is boil it until your desired consistency. Cheers!
can't forget the bite with the kimchi on top. This is from kimchi jjigae.